Hi, Kevin here. Today we're fixing some super simple flatbread. Now you could serve this flatbread just as it is. I mean, it's really delicious all on its own. Or you could turn it into pizza. Let me show you the ingredients. So what I have here is 2 cups or 285 grams or 10 ounces of regular all-purpose flour. Now you could use bread flour if you prefer. And to the flour I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of instant yeast. You could use active dry yeast if you'd like. Also going to add 3/4 of a cup of warm water. This is around 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Then add 1 tablespoon of olive oil. This is extra virgin olive oil. And 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm using kosher salt here. Isn't quite a teaspoon, add a little more. Okay, and then just give this a stir. And what you're trying to do is develop a shaggy dough. Yeah, so not many ingredients in this flatbread. Okay, dough is coming together. Let me grab a knife. Just scrape off this wooden spatula. Don't want to waste any of this dough. Okay, then we're going to knead the dough. And what I'm going to do is sprinkle some olive oil on my work surface. This is just a marble board. On goes the dough. Okay, now to knead the dough. So I'm going to roll it around in this olive oil. I'm using olive oil instead of flour because if you keep adding flour to this dough, well, you'll end up with tough flatbreads. Okay. Now to knead, what you do is pat the dough out and then fold the dough over on itself. And then push it out gently with the palm of your hand and then fold the dough over on itself. Then turn the dough, push it out, fold it over, turn, push out, fold over, turn, and so on and so forth. And if the dough becomes really sticky, and that can happen, just add a little more olive oil to your work surface. You can even add some olive oil to your hand. Then the dough will be very easy to knead. Okay, I'm going to knead this dough until it becomes fairly smooth and only slightly tacky. And that's going to take about 10 minutes. So we'll come back when this is all kneaded. All right, I'm almost finished kneading this dough. And I wanted to mention that several viewers have asked me about the marble board here, on which I always knead my yeast doughs. I bought this board at a kitchen supply store, 20 years ago. And the measurements are, 16 inches by 20 inches. And I'm pretty sure that you can buy this board today in any kitchen supply store. They're pretty common. You can probably even order one from Amazon. So it's 16 inches by 20 inches. Okay, so this dough is fairly smooth. Give you a close-up. And it's only slightly tacky. Okay, so now here's the original mixing bowl. And I'm going to add just a tiny amount of oil to the bowl. You don't have to wash out the bowl first, unless you want to. Rub that around. And then return the dough, flip it to oil the other side, and then cover it either with cling film or with a damp kitchen towel. I'm using one of my flour sack towels here. And then we're going to let this dough rest for 15 minutes. And then when we come back, we can divide the dough and form it into balls and so on. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, we are back. And my dough has been resting for 15 minutes. So now I'm going to turn it onto my board. But first, I am going to add just a tiny amount of flour. Okay, then what you do is pat this out to get out any air bubbles. And then, where's my bench scraper? I'm going to cut this dough into 4 segments. Now, if you want smaller flatbreads, you could divide your dough into 6 or even 8 segments. Okay, and then you take each segment, pat it out. Let me move you in a little closer so you can see. And then you want to form each segment into a tight ball. So what you do is take the ends of the dough and just fold them under. What you're doing is building surface tension. This is the same way you would make dinner rolls. In fact, you could use these for dinner rolls. And then pinch to seal the bottom. Okay, I'll do one more roll for you. Pat it out. Fold the ends under. Like so. And then pinch the underside. Okay, I'll finish forming these into rolls, and then I'll come right back. Now, one little step I forgot to tell you about was to, after you form these into balls, you put them on your surface and use the palm of your hand to just spin each ball. This way you have a perfect sphere. Do one more here. And you want to do this on a non-floured portion of your board because the friction helps when you're rolling them this way. Okay. And now I'm going to roll out the balls. So get some flour on your board. A little more, I think. Pat it out. Now, you can flatten these just with your hands or use a rolling pin. And I'm going to use a rolling pin. A little flour on top. I will be baking these in a 12-inch skillet. So I'm going to roll these into 8-inch diameter discs. And you just have to be patient here, because the dough will try to spring back on you. If you've ever made pizza dough, you know what I'm talking about. Now, the other way you can form the disc is to just gently stretch the dough. So you hold the dough like this, and just let gravity pull the dough down. And then, let me move you out so you can see a little better. I'll do it like this. Yeah, so you let gravity stretch the dough. And you just keep turning the dough like this, and you do this very slowly. Again, patience is your friend. And you do this until you achieve the diameter that you want. And again, I'm looking for roughly 8-inch diameter discs. Okay, now I'm going to try rolling again. Yeah, using that little gravity trick really helped. So the dough is actually rolling out much nicer now. Okay, I'm going to finish rolling these out and then I'll come back. Okay, here's the last disc, and I decided that I prefer my French rolling pin to the other regular type of rolling pin. The French rolling pin is tapered at the ends, so it's easier to make a circle with this pin. And you do not have to make circles. You can make any shape you like. You can even let your rolling pin dictate the shape of your flatbread. And the goal is to roll the dough to a thickness of, well, preferably less than 1/4 of an inch. It should be pretty thin. And I will be turning one of these flatbreads into a pizza, a cocktail-sized pizza. Okay, I think we are at about 8 inches. Here it is. And then what I'm doing is putting the flatbreads between sheets of parchment paper, and I'm using parchment paper simply because I'm out of wax paper. Alright, now I'm going to move you over to the stove top so we can bake these off. Okay, so I have my 12-inch skillet over medium heat. This is a cast iron skillet, but you could use any skillet, non-stick or stainless steel, whatever you have. And I'm using a dry skillet. I did not add any oil to this, although I sometimes do. But then you end up with very puffy fried bread. Okay, and I'm going to let this bake just until the underside becomes spotty brown, and that's going to take 90 seconds to 2 minutes, so we'll come back. All right, here's the flatbread, spotty brown now on both sides. So it cooked for about 2 minutes on the first side and about 1 minute on the second side. And then I'm just transferring it to a parchment lined baking sheet over here. All right, disc number 2. Okay, I'm going to finish baking these and then I'll come back. Okay, let's turn one of these flatbreads into a pizza. It's a pizza that I'm going to have for lunch today. Okay, so what I have here are some broccoli florets and some smoked Gouda. It's one of my favorite cheeses. And I toss the broccoli and the cheese with just a little olive oil and some salt and pepper. Actually, I forgot to add the pepper. I'll do that right now. Give this a quick toss. And then you can put it right on top of the flatbread. Yeah, I served the same pizza at a tiny little cocktail gathering. You know, just Mr. Fox and me and 2 friends. Everybody loved this pizza. I just cut it into pieces so we could all have some. Okay, then for a little color, I have some cherry tomatoes that I cut lengthwise in half, or I should say horizontally in half. And these will give the pizza just a little color. Then I want to add just a tiny bit extra Gouda. And then for more color and flavor, I have some fresh chives here. And I just snip the chives over the pizza. A little color and flavor from the onion family. Okay, then I'm going to pop this into the 450-degree oven just until the broccoli starts to color a little bit and the cheese melts. And that's going to take, not more than 10 minutes. So we'll come back. Now, while the pizza is baking, I thought I should taste one of the flatbreads for you, just to tell you what it's like. So again, very flexible and very delicious. It has a little hint of yeast, and the salt that we used was the perfect amount. I mean, they're not salty, but they're not bland. And what else? Slightly chewy, that's a good thing. So I really love this flatbread. All right, I'll come back when the pizza is all baked. All right, here's the pizza, which I just transferred to this little board for easy cutting. And here's what I do when I have friends over for cocktail gatherings. I just cut the pizza into... Did you see that? I've had this pastry wheel for, I don't know, 15 years, and it just broke. Well, we're going to see if we can make it work anyway. No, we can't. Hang on, I have to get a knife. I'll tell you, some days are not like other days. Well, that pizza wheel, or that, I guess it's called a pastry cutter, had a very good life. Served me well. So let's have a look. Now it tastes. Oh, I love the Gouda cheese, the smoked Gouda cheese. Oh, this is wonderful. Well, I hope you will give this flatbread a try someday. Super simple to do, and what did it take? Maybe an hour from start to finish. So, very fast, very easy, and again, you can use it for pizza. All right, thank you so much for watching. I will list the ingredients in the description box below, and I hope you will subscribe if you have not already. And again, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye for now.